Hi, AT from CNC at Home. It's Christmas time of year, and I thought it would be fun to make a tree ornament. Should be pretty straightforward. I have some dimensions I want to use based off of some material I have. Let's go ahead and get started. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up. The first thing I want to do is start with a circle. So I choose our circle tool, I come down and I hold the shift key to make sure that I get an actual circle. If I don't hold the shift key, I can get an ellipse, but I want a circle. Just make a random size. I'll get that on layer 1. I'm going to do a line for now, and its size is going to be 60. So I go ahead and key that in, make sure my aspect is locked. And that's going to be the basic shape. On top of this, I want to have a little hole so that I can hook this to a tree. I'm going to create another circle. This one will be a little bit smaller. And I'm going to have its dimensions, I'll call that 6. Okay, and that's kind of small, but that should be what we need down here. Let's get that, oops. All right, let's blow this up so I can see what I'm doing. All right, take this circle. It should snap to the center. There we go. Now I'm going to put it up on top eventually. Let's go ahead and do that. I've got it in the center. Let's go ahead and mark it, and I'm just going to move it up. And for now, I'm just going to have it close to the top. Because what I want to do is I want to create another circle in there. 1.5 is what I want. I want the circle to be basically 3 millimeters, and so I've got 6 for the big one, and if I come in 1.5, that's a total of 3 in, so 6 minus 3 is 3. That's the size I want. And what I want to do is take this whole thing and I want to move it down until that hole is just above the big circle, something about like that. Then I'm going to take the big, no, I'm going to take the big circle and the outside of this hook, and I want to union those together, or weld them, I guess, is what I want to do. Then for this little corner, I want to put a radius on there. 3 millimeters should work. So let's go ahead and we'll do 3 millimeter on the radius. And then we'll click here and we'll click here. There we go. Now we have a nice transition and we have our hole for a hook. And this is looking pretty good. Now what I want to do is I want to put the date in the middle. And I want to do it in a way that it actually splits this in half. I'll show you what I mean. Let's go ahead and do text. We'll do 2024 Arial black. Oh, good. That's what I wanted to use. So we've got Arial black, and we'll put that in the center of this. And that size actually looks really good. I don't want it really any bigger than that. So we'll use that. And then let's go to another layer just to keep track of stuff. And I'm going to do a rectangle around this. I'm going to make it a little bit bigger on purpose. You'll see why. And let's do fill on, or no, line on that. What I want to do is I want to bring this new rectangle, I want it to come up and meet the bottom of our text. And then on the top, I want it to meet the top or maybe just down a little bit. So here's how I'm going to do that. I'm just going to grab this and I'm going to push it up. And that looks about right, but let's zoom in and see. It would probably work okay, but I'm going to get it right on there because I want this to be as close as possible. Now this one's going to need to be a little different in that the 2, the 0, and this other 2 are rounded. And I need it to do more than just touch it. The 4 would work fine if I just brought it down to the top of the 4. That would be fine. It's just when we end up cutting some of this material away, I want more joined between the circle and my numbers. It'll make sense when I do it. So I'm going to bring this down just a little bit. So it's inside the 2, the 0, and this other 2 just a little bit. Okay, let's zoom out. What I want to do is I want to take this square and I want to subtract it from my big circle. So I select my big circle, shift select the rectangle, come down to my subtraction tool and say subtract. Now what I have is I have two pieces with numbers in between. So if I select all of that, and I can do that easily by doing a select from the right to the left, and any object that's inside this green square, partially or fully, will be selected. All of these numbers are grouped together, so because I had the 4, it grabbed them all. With everything selected, I'm going to come down here, and this one I'm going to use union, and it's going to then merge all of that together. By doing that, the 2's are solid on the bottom, the 0 and the 4 are solid on the bottom. It's solid here, here, and here. When I cut this out, it'll hold the two halves together and have the number in the middle. Let's should add a little bit of bling to that. So let's go here to my art library, and I have some snowflakes. Let's go ahead and add this snowflake. It's a bit big, so let's make that 10% the size. That's a little small. We'll make it bigger. And we'll align that with the center axis and then make sure that I'm anchored in the middle, and I'll just start making that bigger until it looks, oops, hang on. Don't want that circle at top to move. I always forget to do that. Okay. Just the snowflake from the center. Let's make it 200%. Wow. Okay, that works. It might be a little high, so let's just move that down a little bit. Okay, and this will probably end up being a fill anyway, so what does that look like as a fill? That'll be good. Let's grab another snowflake. Let's grab this fancy one. Let's bring that in. That's way too big, so let's make that smaller. Bring it down, and again, we'll align that vertically. Okay, but it can be quite a bit bigger than that. So let's make that, let's make it 150%. Yeah, that's about right. Good guess. And we'll just slide that up a little bit. Not bad. All right, that should be good. Let's do a quick preview. Okay, this says 3 minutes and 27 seconds, which is completely wrong because I have forgotten to assign these layers to the correct parameters. Now, since that one's going to be cut out, I'm going to have it do that first. Go under Material, and I'm going to do this out of MDF. Fill, we'll assign that, wrong layer. Assign that to the blue layer because that's the one that we want to etch, just a fill. And then the cut through is going to be 3mm MDF, so we'll assign that to the black layer because that's going to cut through. Now if we take a preview of this, still not bad. 8 minutes 15 seconds. It'll do the snowflakes first, and then it'll burn out these inner shapes, and then eventually the last thing it'll do is the outside of this. Let's go ahead and save this and send it to the laser. Although before I send it to the laser, there's one more thing I'm going to need to do. Because of the size of my material, it's likely that this is going to go off the top because I measured it up and I have room for 60, but not 66 maybe. What I want to do then is rotate this about the center. I'm going to rotate this 45. That way, this should fit just dandy. We'll go ahead and put it in the lower left corner of our working area. This should be all set to send to the laser. First thing we'll want to do is home the laser. Go ahead and click home. And that'll get into the home position. Then I will move it, and I'm going to create a user origin that aligns with my material. Now that I have my origin set, let's do a couple frames and see what it looks like. Okay, that looks like it should work pretty well. I guess there's nothing like running it to make sure. So let's go ahead and run this. And okay, I need to do this in 2 separate runs. With MDF, when I do the fill part, that needs to not have the air on. And this particular laser does not turn the air assist on and off correctly. So I have to do it manually. So I'm going to disconnect or turn off the air assist. So even when the command is sent, it won't use the air assist. So all of the etching will do that. Then I will come back and run the burn with the air assist on, because it definitely cuts better with the air assist on. Let's go ahead and run this part. Yeah, not too bad. Generally be about 3.5 minutes. And I'll swap this. I won't output the etching, and I will output the cut. As soon as the etching part is done, I will go ahead and run the cut. Well, that was a fairly simple process, and the end result turned out pretty nicely. One thing that I would do differently, if we look at this, the bottom snowflake is somewhat delicate and much more difficult to see versus the top one. Other than that, it turned out very nicely. It's easy to read the 2024, and you can put whatever you want on there. You could put little snowmen, snowflakes, whatever made sense. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, give it a thumbs up. That always helps us. If you enjoy the content of our channel, think about subscribing. That really helps us out. Enjoy doing your CNC at home projects.
Oops.